So I am going to continue the discussion of special cases in friction. I have already discussed 4 special cases in my previous classes. So I am going to discuss another 3 special cases in this class. So consider an uniform chain resting on the horizontal surface of a table with a part of its length hanging from the edge of the table. The surface of the table is rough here, not smooth. So I am going to discuss the calculation of the maximum possible fraction of the length of the chain that can hang from the edge of the table so that the chain is in equilibrium. So it is a uniform chain, that means density and cross-sectional area are same for all parts of the chain. Let M1 be the mass of the part of the chain lying on the table. Let M2 denote the mass of the hanging part of the chain. So frictional force acts only on the part of the chain resting on the horizontal surface of the table. Here M1 is the mass of the part of the chain which is resting on the horizontal surface of the table. Fs represents static frictional force acting on the part of the chain resting on the horizontal surface of the table. No frictional force acts on the hanging part of the chain because the hanging part of the chain is not in contact with the surface of the table. Let N denote the magnitude of the normal reaction force exerted on the part of the chain resting on the surface of the table by the surface of the table, which acts vertically upwards opposite to the weight M1g. Let M2 denote the mass of the hanging part of the chain. So the weight M2g of the hanging part of the chain tends to move the chain. So the chain starts moving when the weight M2g of the hanging part of the chain exceeds the limiting friction acting on the remaining part of the chain resting on the surface of the table. But here I am interested to discuss the condition for which chain will be at rest on the surface of the table with a part of its length hanging from the edge of the table. So magnitude of the tension at the cross section of the chain at the top end of the top edge of the hanging part will be equal to the weight M2g of the hanging part. This tensional force acting at the cross section near the edge of the table tends to move the chain towards right. So when the chain is at rest, you need not try to copy the working part now. You can copy the working part later. Later I will show you the typed notes. For those who are interested to copy the working part or write the notes, they can write later when I tell you to write. First you just concentrate on listening. So when the chain is at rest, you can say that the weight M1g of the part of the chain resting on the surface of the table is balanced by the normal reaction force by the table. The weight M2g of the hanging part of the chain which tends to move the chain can be taken as equal to magnitude of static friction acting on the remaining part of the chain lying on the table. So but magnitude of static friction between two surfaces in contact contact cannot be more than the limiting value in US into N. So on the left hand side, I will substitute here Fs equal to M2G. On the right hand side, we can substitute N equal to M1G. Therefore, for the chain to be at rest, the condition can be written as M2G less than or equal to Uf into M1G. So the chain will be at rest if the ratio of the mass of the hanging part and the mass of the remaining part resting on the table is less than or equal to Us. Let capital L denote the total length of the chain. Let small l denote the length of the hanging part of the chain. So length of the remaining part of the chain resting on the horizontal surface of the table will be capital L minus small l. Mass M2 by mass M1, ratio of the mass of the two parts of chain can be taken as the ratio of the lengths of the two parts of the chain. Because mass can be written as volume into density and volume can be written as the area of cross section into length. If chain is uniform means both the parts of the chain have same area of cross section and same density. So cross section area A is same, density is same for both the parts of chain. So ratio of the mass of M2 by M1 you can write L2 by L1. L2 you can write small l, L1 equal to capital L minus small l. So if you simplify this last relationship, you can conclude that chain will be at rest if the length of the hanging part of the chain less than or equal to Us into L by Us plus 1. That means the maximum possible length of the hanging part of the chain for which the chain stays in equilibrium will be Us into L by Us plus 1, or maximum possible fraction of the length of the chain that can hang from the edge of the table. So the chain will be at rest will be equal to Us by Us plus 1. In case you are asked a fraction of the length of the chain, I mean maximum possible fraction of the length of the chain which can hang from the edge of the table when it is at rest is Us by Us plus 1. For example, if question of static friction between the chain and the table, for example, you are given to be equal to 0.25, then maximum possible length of the chain that can hang from the edge of the table will be, you can substitute this Us equal to 0.25, 0.25 by 1.25 will be L by 5. Suppose in the same example, if Us is 0.25, but if length of the hanging part is L by 6, that means which is less than L by 5. So if Us is 0.25, the chain will be at rest. The length of the hanging part is less than or equal to L by 5. If Us is 0.25, then the chain will be at rest if the length of the hanging part of the chain is less than or equal to 1/5 of the total length of chain. Suppose the length of the hanging part in the same example is only 1/6 of the total length. Even then chain will be at rest. Then magnitude of static friction acting on the part of the chain resting on the table should be taken as equal to weight M2G of the hanging part. If 1/6 of the length of the chain is hanging from the edge of the table, you can say the mass of the hanging part of the chain is equal to 1/6 of the total mass of chain. Fs you can write m2g. This m2 you can write m/6, where m is the total mass of chain. So I have discussed this example is that sometimes the question may not be based directly on the conclusion. Sometimes the question may be based on the discussion on which the conclusion is arrived at. So I would like to show the working notes for the same case. So those who want to copy the notes for the case which I have just now discussed, come on, start writing. Case 5. First I have given the conclusion there. Then it will be shown the working for the conclusion which I have just discussed now. I will once read out the conclusion. Consider uniform chain of length L resting on the horizontal surface of a table with a part of its length hanging from the edge of the table. If nu s is the coefficient of static friction between the chain and the table, then the maximum possible length of the hanging part for which the chain will be in limiting equilibrium is nu s into L by nu s plus 1. Come on, copy down this conclusion first. Those who are writing the notes, come on, first copy down the conclusion. In case you need more time to copy the conclusion, you can take a pause and take your own time. I'm going to show the working for this conclusion. Figure shows the uniform chain resting on the horizontal surface of the table. Small l is the length of the hanging part of the chain. Capital L is the total length of the chain. So length of the horizontal part of the chain resting on the horizontal surface of the table, you can write capital L minus small l. Come on, copy on the diagram first. M1 is the mass of the part of the chain resting on the horizontal surface of the table. M2g is the weight of the hanging part of the chain. That means M2 is the mass of the hanging part of the chain. Fs represents the magnet of static friction acting on the parts of the chain resting on the horizontal surface of the table, which is exerted by surface of the table. So when the chain is in static equilibrium, we can write N equal to M1G and Fs equal to M2G. That is magnet of static friction on the chain by the surface of the table equal to weight of the hanging part of chain, where M1 and M2 are the mass of the two parts of the chain. But Fs is less than or equal to nu N. So on the left hand side you can substitute Fs equal to M2G and right side N equal to M1G. So our M2 by M1 will be less than or equal to nu s. I mean when the chain is at rest, or you can say chain will be at rest if the ratio M2 by M1 is less than or equal to nu s. Come on, those who want to copy the working, finish copying the working. In case you need more time to copy the working, take a pause and copy the working. So I can write M2 by M1 is equal to ratio of the masses of the two parts of chain is same as the ratio of the lengths of the two parts of chain. That is small l by capital L minus small l, less than or equal to US. So you can cross multiply this and solve for small l. So you can arrive at the conclusion that chain will be at rest if small l is less than or equal to US into capital L by US plus 1. Come on, copy down the working. In case you need more time to copy the working, you can take a pause and take your more time. Next, I am going to show you the next special case. Case 6. First, I am going to show you the conclusion part. Consider a block resting on the horizontal surface of a truck which moves along a level road with an acceleration A. Level road means horizontal road. If nu(s) is the coefficient of static friction between the block and truck, then block does not slip on the truck if A is less than or equal to nu(s) into G. Come on, first you copy down this conclusion. Next, I am going to show you the working for this conclusion. So those who are writing the notes, come on, first copy the conclusion. In case you know you need more time to copy the work conclusion, you can take a pause. So figure shows the free body diagram for the block resting on the horizontal surface of truck. Here we assumed that the truck is moving towards right with an acceleration small a. So this arrow shown indicates the direction of the motion of the truck. So when the truck starts moving towards right, the force of friction on the truck by block acts towards left side. The frictional force on truck by block acts towards left side. So when the truck starts moving towards right with an acceleration A, the frictional force on truck by block acts towards left side. From Newton's third law, if friction force on truck by block acts towards left side, then frictional force on block by the truck acts towards right. That means force of friction on block by the truck acts in the direction of the motion of the truck. Some students mistake that frictional force of the block always acts opposite to motion of the block. Should remember that friction opposes the relative motion between the block and the truck. Should not mistake that friction always opposes motion in all situations. Should remember that friction opposes the relative motion between the two surfaces in contact. So in case if there is slipping between the block and the truck, then if the truck starts moving towards right side relative to the block, that means if the velocity of the truck relative to the block in case directed towards right, then friction force on truck by the block will be directed towards left. That will be the kinetic friction. If friction force on truck by the block is directed towards left side, then friction force on block by the truck will be directed towards right side. But here I would like to discuss the condition for which the block does not slip on the truck. So when the block does not slip on the truck, then for the stationary observer on the ground, it appears that both the block and the truck move horizontally towards right with same acceleration. So when you draw the free body diagram for the block, In the free body diagram for the block, we must show only the forces which are acting on the block. Should not show the force exerted by the block on truck in the free body diagram for the block. So only the frictional force on block by the truck should be shown in the free body diagram for the block. So if the frictional force on truck by the block will be here directed towards left side, which is not shown in the free body diagram. The reaction to that means friction force on block by the truck will be directed towards right. If the block does not slip on the surface of truck, we can say that there is no relative motion between the block and the horizontal surface of truck. The force of friction between two surfaces in contact when there is no relative motion between the two surfaces is called the static friction. So when the block does not slip on surface of the truck, the friction force of the block should be considered as static friction, which acts in the direction of the motion of the block. I mean, static friction on block by the truck acts in the direction of the motion of the block as seen by the stationary observer on the ground. So we choose the horizontal direction, that is the direction of the motion of the block as positive direction of x-axis, and vertical upward direction as positive direction of y-axis. So if the block does not slip on the truck, we can say that the block has no motion in the vertical direction with respect to the stationary observer on the ground. Then we can y component resultant force Fy equal n minus mg, that will be 0, or you can write n equal mg. I mean magnitude of normal reaction, same as the magnitude of the weight mg. And resultant force on the block with respect to laboratory frame of reference means with respect to stationary observer on the ground. We can be written as equal Fx, means x component resultant force, that is equal Fs. Fs represents magnitude of static friction on the block by the surface of the truck. From Newton's second law, resultant force of the block with respect to stationary observer on the ground is equal to product of its mass and acceleration. So you can write Fs equal MA. But in general, static friction between two surfaces in contact cannot be more than the limiting value in US into N. So you can write Fs less than or equal to US into N. So on the left hand side, you can substitute Fs equal to MA. On the right hand side, you can substitute N equal to mg. That means the block does not slip on the truck if MA is less than or equal to US into mg. Or you can say the block does not slip on the truck if A is less than or equal to US into G. That means the maximum acceleration with which the truck can move so that the block does not slip on the surface of the truck will be equal to US into G. You can arrive at the same conclusion by an alternate method also, which I would like to discuss, which is shown on, not shown on the screen. But those who are copying the notes, please finish writing the notes up to this, whatever is shown on the screen. This is working for the special conclusion I have given. In case you need more time to copy the working, you can take a pause. So I am discussing the same case by an alternate method. That is, we'll write the equations with respect to accelerated frame of reference fixed to the truck. Let us suppose truck is moving towards right with an acceleration of magnitude A. If the block does not slip on the truck, we can say that the block is at rest relative to the truck. So when the truck starts moving towards right, then frictional force on truck by the block acts towards left side. If friction force on truck by the block acts towards left side, from Newton's third law, you can say friction force on block by the truck acts towards right side. So when the truck starts moving towards right side with an acceleration of magnitude A, the frictional force, that means the truck tends to move towards right relative to the block. So when the truck starts or tends to move towards right relative to the block, the friction force on truck by block opposes the motion of the truck relative to block. Means frictional force on truck by block, in case if there is slipping, suppose, then the force of kinetic friction or sliding friction on truck by the block acts opposite to the velocity of the truck relative to the block. If the velocity of the truck relative to the block is towards right, I mean if there is slipping between the truck and the block, then velocity of truck relative to the block is towards right side, then frictional force on truck by block will be directed towards left side. From Newton's third law, action and reaction forces will be always equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So if friction force on truck by block is directed towards left side, then the frictional force on block by the truck will be directed towards right side. But when you draw the free body diagram for the block, in the free body diagram for the block, we must show only the forces which are acting on the block. We should not show the forces exerted by the block in the free body diagram for the block. So only frictional force on block by the truck will be shown in the free body diagram. So this friction force can be called as static friction if the block does not slip on the surface of the truck. This friction will become kinetic friction when there is slipping between the block and the truck. So the other force which acts on the block at its weight mg acts vertically downwards. Normal reaction force on block by surface of the truck acts vertically upwards. So let us draw the free body diagram for the block. Here I am going to draw the free body diagram for the block with respect to the accelerated frame fixed to the truck. The frame of reference fixed to the truck is an accelerated frame of reference because the frame of reference or coordinate system which is fixed to the truck is moving towards right with an acceleration of magnitude a. So this frame of reference fixed to the truck can be called an accelerated frame of reference or non-inertial frame of reference. So to analyze the motion of the block in the accelerated frame, in addition to the real forces acting on the block shown in the figure, we have to also consider the pseudo force. The magnitude of pseudo force on the block will be product of the mass of the block and magnitude of the acceleration of the truck, and direction of the pseudo force will be opposite to the direction of the acceleration of the non-inertial frame fixed to the truck. That is, accelerated truck is towards right side, so direction of pseudo force will be towards left side. We choose the horizontal direction towards right as positive x-axis and vertically upward direction as y-axis. So if the block does not slip on the truck, then we can say block is at rest with respect to the truck. WRT means with respect to. Then the type of friction between the block and the truck can be called a static friction. Then next component resultant force will be small f minus MA. This small f we can write Fs. F small f subscript S represents magnetic static friction on block by the truck. That will be 0 if the block is at rest with respect to the truck. Fs equal to MA. And y component resultant force on the block related to the truck is again N minus mg, because the block has no motion in the vertical direction. Even with respect to truck, we can write N minus mg0 or N equal to mg. But in general, static friction between two surfaces in contact cannot be more than the limiting value in US into N. So we can write Fs less than or equal to US into N. So combining the three relationships, that means from first equation, you can substitute Fs equal to mv on the left hand side of the third relationship. From second equation, you can write N equal to mg on the right hand side of third relationship. So you can write block does not slip on the truck, or block is at rest with respect to truck if ma is less than or equal to us mg, or acceleration of the truck is less than or equal to us into g. That means for any acceleration of the truck which is less than or equal to us into g, the magnitude of static friction of the block will be equal to ma. Some students mistake that if the block does not slip on the truck, static friction on the block equal to us mg. Us mg represents limiting friction. For example, if us is given as 0.6 and g is given as 10 meter per second square, then block will be at rest, or then block does not slip. On the surface of truck, if acceleration of truck is less than or equal to us into g, that is 0.6 into 10 meter per second square or 6 meter per second square. The same example, suppose if the truck moves towards right with an acceleration of 4 meter per second square. Mass of the block is suppose 0.75 kg. Then if the acceleration of the truck is suppose 4 meter per second square, you can conclude that the block does not slip on the truck. The block does not slip on the truck for any value of acceleration less than or equal to 6 meter per second square. That means if acceleration of the truck is suppose 4 meter per second square, even then the block does not slip on the truck, then magnitude of static friction of the block will be how much? When they are asked to calculate friction force from the block, some of the students observed, they write mu as mg. Mu as mg represents limiting friction, not the static friction. Static friction may not be equal to limiting value in all examples. It may be less than the limiting value. So static friction is equal to MA in that case. That is 0.75 into 4 newtons or 3 newtons. So in case if the acceleration of the truck in the same example is more than 6 meter per second square, I mean if the acceleration of the truck is more than us into g, then the block slips on the surface of the truck. In that case, the equation of motion can, for x-axis for block relative to the truck, we can write Fk minus mass into acceleration of the truck, that is the resultant force on the block relative to the truck, is equal to mass into acceleration of the block relative to truck. A subscript B comma T represent the acceleration of the block relative to truck. Here Fk should be again written nu k into n or nu k into mg, etc. Here A means magnitude of acceleration of truck. Okay, I am going to next. Those who are interested to copy this alternate method also, they can copy the alternate method. In case you need more time to copying the working I have written on the paper, you can take a pause and take more time. I am going to discuss the next special case. Come on, look at the next special case here. Case 7. First, I am going to show you the conclusion. See, some of the students will be having very good memory. They remember all conclusions in all special cases, so they will be able to apply the conclusion directly in objective questions. But not everybody. Some of the students will not be able to answer the question based on memory, but they will be able to answer the question by working out the problem completely from concept. That's why for each special case I am discussing the working part or proof part, so that in case you are unable to remember the conclusion, you should be able to solve it the usual way as you do in board examinations. Come on, look at the case 7. Consider a block of mass Kaplan pressed against a vertical wall with a horizontal force of magnitude Kepler. If nu is the coefficient of static friction between the block and the wall, then the block will be at rest if Kepler is greater than or equal to mg by nu s. So those who want to copy the conclusion, first you finish writing this conclusion. In case you need more time to copy the conclusion, you can take a pause and write the conclusion. I am going to show the working for this conclusion. Figure shows the block of mass m which is pressed against a vertical wall, applying horizontal force of magnitude F directed towards right. So the block is pressed against the vertical wall towards right. The normal reaction force on the block by surface of the wall acts perpendicular to surface of the wall and directed away from surface of the wall. As I discussed in the past, Newton's laws, that in general when a block is placed in contact with a surface, the normal reaction force on the block with the surface in contact always acts perpendicular to surface in contact and will be directed away from surface in contact. So in the figure you are shown the free body diagram for the block on the figure on the right side. Capital F is the magnitude of the horizontal force applied on the block by an external agent with which the block is pressed against the vertical wall. Capital N represents the magnitude of the normal reaction force on block by surface of the wall which acts towards left side, that is perpendicular surface of the wall and directed away from the wall. Weight mg of the block acts vertically downwards, which is the gravitational force on the block by the earth. The weight mg of the block acts vertically downwards. So here the weight mg of the block tends to move the block vertically downwards relative to the wall. That means in case the block begins to slip, it begins to slip down relative to the wall. So in general, force of friction between two surfaces in contact always acts tangential to surfaces in contact. And in general, force of friction between two surfaces in contact always opposes the relative motion between the two surfaces in contact. So the weight mg of the block tends to move the block vertically downwards. Therefore, frictional force exerted on block by surface of the wall acts upwards. The block is at rest relative to the wall. We can say the friction, the type of friction on block by the surface of the wall is the static friction. So in the free body diagram, Fs represents the magnitude of static friction force on the block by surface of the wall which is directed vertically upwards, opposing the weight mg of the block, opposing the relative motion between the block and surface of the wall. So I choose the horizontal direction along x-axis and vertical upward direction of the y-axis. So if the block is at rest, then the resultant force of block will be 0. That means x component resultant force, we can write F minus n, that will be 0, or I can write n equal to F in magnitude, call it as equation 1. And y component resultant force we denote by Fi, that can be written as Fs minus mg, That will also be 0 when the block is at rest, or you can write Fs equal to mg. Come on, copy down. Those are want to copy the notes. Come on, finish writing. In case you need more time to copy the working, you can take a pause and take more time. But Fs is less than or equal to Us into N. So from previous equation, you can substitute N equal to F from first equation on the right hand side, and Fs equal to mg from second equation on the left hand side of third relation. So you can write mg less than or equal to Us into F. That means block will be at rest if mg is less than or equal to Us into F, or Us into F is greater than or equal to mg, or you can say block will be at rest if F is greater than or equal to mg by Us. Come on, copy down the working. So you should observe that in case you are asked to find what is the minimum horizontal force required to keep the block at rest, that will be equal to mg by Us. If wall is smooth, that means I am discussing beyond the special case. The wall is smooth, that means if there is no friction between the block and surface of the wall, you cannot say normal reaction is 0, Us is 0. If Us is 0, minimum force required to keep the block at rest, mathematically speaking, it will be infinity. Force required to keep the block at rest is infinity, means it's not possible to keep the block at rest when the wall is perfectly smooth. So it's not possible to keep the block at rest by applying a horizontal force on the block when the wall is smooth. That means the horizontal force cannot balance the weight mg which acts in the vertical direction when the wall is smooth. So it is possible to keep the block at rest on the wall by applying a horizontal force only when the wall is not frictionless, only when there is friction between the block and the wall. So one more thing, I have to observe that the block will be at rest even if the horizontal force applied on the block is more than mg by Us. For example, if you are given that the mass of the block is 0.1 kg and Us is 0.5, and horizontal force applied on the block is given as 5 Newton. Actually, this example was given one of the All India entrance examinations in the past. If you are asked what is the magnitude of static friction, magnitude of friction force on the block, you may not mention as static friction. What is the magnitude of friction on the block? So you have to first check out whether the block will be at rest or not. So the block will be at rest if F is greater than or equal to mg by Us. So minimum horizontal force required to keep the block at rest is mg by Us. Here m is 0.1 kg. Suppose g is given 9.8 meter per second square. Us is 0.5. That means the block will be minimum horizontal force required to keep the block at rest will be 1.96 newtons. That means block will be at rest if the magnitude of the horizontal force applied on the block is more than or at least equal to 1.96 newtons. That means the block will be at rest for any magnitude of the horizontal force applied on the block, which is more than this value 1.96. So for the given value 5 Newton, the block will be definitely at rest because it is more than 1.96 newtons. Then magnitude of static friction of the block will be, can recall the free body diagram I have drawn. The weight mg of the block acts vertically downwards. The static friction on the block by surface of wall acts vertical upwards. F is the magnitude of the horizontal force applied on the block towards right. Of course, normal reaction force on block by surface of wall acts towards left side. If the block is at rest, as I explained previously, we can say that the magnitude of static friction of the block is same as the magnitude of its weight mg, which tends to move the block. So in the example I am discussing, that means F equal to 0.1 kg, nu s is 0.5 and F is 5 Newton. The magnitude of static friction should not be written as nu s into n. Fs equal to mg, which is equal to 0.1 into 9.8 newtons or 0.98 newtons. Because observed with some students, whenever they are asked what is the magnitude of static friction, they simply write nu s into n. So you should not write static friction equal nu s into n in all the examples. Nu s into n represents the limiting friction. In many examples, static friction may be less than the limiting value. Next, I am going to discuss one problem. In the next class, I will be discussing a problem. Then I will be discussing the motion of the block down the rough inclined plane.